Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terry Brown. I'm the Small Business Center Director at Central Carolina Community College, and welcome small business owners to library resources and business planning, doing your market research for your business plan. So if this is the first time on a webinar with us at Small Business Center, first let me say welcome. And if you're not familiar with the Small Business Center, what we do are webinars like the one you're on today. We do workshops, we do in-person seminars, and we do one-on-one consultations. If you're thinking about starting your business or growing your business, all of those services are free to the public, and we invite you to reach out to your local small business center for resources, help, and information. So today, we have with us Allison Seals, who is our instructional librarian at Central Carolina Community College. She is originally from Las Vegas. That's exciting. She moved to North Carolina to get her Master's of Library Science at UNC Chapel Hill. Since graduation, she has worked in public libraries and academic libraries and has joined CCCC's library staff as of last September. With us kind of in the background is Morgan Pruitt. She is the CCCC Outreach and Assessment Librarian. So Morgan has worked with the Small Business Center over the last few months to put together this first of a three-part series on doing market research for your business plan. So I want to thank her. She has a Master's of Arts in English and a Master's of Library and Informational Studies. So Allison, before I let you get started, I just want to say the reason that we did this three-part series today as part of your writing your business plan is in order to put a business plan together, you have to be a little bit detective and a little bit scientist. And we have such wonderful, trained, educated researchers at our community college library and our local public library. So we wanted to familiarize you with what resources are available to you for free and to kind of explain a little bit to you on how to put those resources and that information together so you can create a better and more comprehensive business plan. So Allison, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And
thank you for having me.
I will let you get started. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat. I'm going to be monitoring questions in the chat. We love questions, so please put your questions in there and we'll try to get those answered for you before we leave today. All right, so Allison, I'll let you get started.
Hello, welcome. I'm Allison, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the resources you can find at libraries. There's my contact information right there, acils@cccc.edu. So how to contact us. You can always visit us. We have 3 campuses, Lee, Harnett, and Chatham. You can chat us, and this link right here will take you right to the chat. You can email us, you can call us, and you can book an appointment with one of us. So let me show you around the library website just for a second. The library website is located at cccc.edu/library. You'll see several links right here at the top middle. You'll also see several tabs at the bottom middle. We're going to start at the top with help and contact. And I just showed you that you can contact us 5 different ways. You can come in, you can make an appointment, you can call us, you can email us, and you can, did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can chat us. The chat box is located on the home page. We're on the help and contact page right now. So as well as help and contact, you can see under help our hours and locations. We have 3 locations here. And here are the regular hours at the bottom. You'll notice Chatham is a public library, so they have Saturday hours. So if you need help on Saturday and you want to walk in, Chatham is open. You can also click on staff to see who we are. We're located right here. That's me. Morgan is at Harnett and Dana is at Chatham. We also have Mari at Lee if you need any digital services help.
Allison, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna pop in. We did have a quick question about
Okay.
a current student to make an appointment.
You do not. Anybody can make an appointment with us.
Great, thank you.
And we also have some tutorials on how to use the library. If you want to look at that, it'll just walk you around the library. Also how to use the website and other things, other tutorials right here, short videos that should be helpful. Those are under help and contact. Under services, here's where you'd book a study room right here. Lee and Harnett are right here. Chatham is only available. You have to make a phone call to book their rooms. So right there is the link. We also have, if you want to just come in and use our spaces, we have study carrels and lounge chairs. It's really nice. This information is under services. If you are a student, you can get a student ID, and on the back of the student ID is your library card. So we do encourage you to get your student ID if you are a student. If you're not a student, you can get a community card. Is that, I know that's on here somewhere. Under borrowing materials, right here it is. Community patrons, you just come in and get a library card right there. We have computers and technology that you can use if you walk in. You can use our Microsoft Office suite. And on copies and printing, copies are free. We just ask that you not print the entire book, but you can come in and make any kind of copies that you want for free. Just ignore that. Right now that happened during COVID, so that's still available. So we've looked at home, services, and help and contact. Home is where you'll see the chat. I just wanted to make sure to point that out. This is another way to contact us. This is manned 24/7. So if you need help, just come to the library's homepage and click on chat. 24/7 librarians are there to reach out to. And I did want to say we have 3 campuses again. You can walk into any of these and use our services, because some of the services I'm going to talk about are only available with student access or on campus. So I'm going to talk today about Summon, databases, research guides. I'm going to show you where to find some videos and some public library help. Now the ones in purple, they will have resources that are only available, as I said, with a student ID or on campus. So if you find something and you really want it, you can walk in and ask for it. So Summon is the library's search engine, and it provides fast, relevancy-ranked results through a single search box. It includes electronic materials, including academic journal articles, newspapers, ebooks, videos, and a lot more. That is the first tab that you see right here. We'll also,
yeah, just a quick question. Someone's asking if the community card is the same thing as the regular county library card.
It allows you to check out books, but it doesn't allow you access to our electronic materials at home. So it's not like having a student ID. It's like having a public library card. Does that make sense?
So would they need a community card and a county library card, or?
Yes, if you're, yeah. It's just we're separate libraries. It's really interesting because if you get a card at both libraries, you'll have access to 2 separate consortiums. So that just doubles the amount of resources you can access. So I do recommend getting a community card at CCCC, as well as getting a public library card at your public library, as many as you are able. If you can get one at Lee, if you have access to the one at Chatham, I recommend getting a library card at every library you can, because you never know what kind of electronic book library they have, or they may have a completely different set of ebooks that are available. and they may have a separate consortium, which we do at the CCCC, as opposed to the public library. So if you get a library card at both, you can have access to just millions of resources.
That's great to know. Thank you.
Yeah. And when you're on our website, you go to the library homepage, you'll see Summon is already selected. Summon gives you access to millions of electronic resources on its own. And I'll show you that real quick. Here's a shortcut, and here's the link if you want to type it in. So now we're going to look, we looked at the top tabs, now we're going to look at the lower middle tabs. So Summon accesses all of about, I'd say it covers about 85% of our databases. So if you wanted to search all of our databases at once, Summon is the way to do it. There are some databases that are isolated, like the automobile repair manual database is not connected to the Summon search, and there may be a few more, but it will search most of our databases all at once. So I'm going to do a little search and show you what that looks like. And I'm sorry, but this is what I'm interested in. So we're going to look at comic book businesses. And see what kind of search results we get. You should be able to do this at home right now. It's only after you click on a resource that you might hit the stop point where you need to be a student or on campus. But you can do this search right now and get some results. And some of these results you won't have to be a student to access if it's a newspaper or things like that. So I do recommend starting with Summon. You'll see you get 38,000 results. That's quite a lot. If you're doing a paper and you want peer-reviewed articles, you could click peer review, and it should narrow your results. And what a peer-reviewed article is it's in a journal, it's been peer-reviewed, so you know that you can trust the material inside. So now we have 269 results. That's pretty navigable, but if you wanted to narrow it further, you could also click journal article. And you could also narrow by publication date if you wanted to check the most recent articles on the subject you're looking at, 3, 5, 10 years. Now we've got 32 results. What this narrowing does is it refines your search to make it more precise. You can also filter by discipline and subject terms. And some of these subject terms might help you in further searches if you find something you like here. So once we see the articles, you see the title right here. You see the author, the name of the journal, and the volume number. You can also click on Quick Look, which will give you an abstract and some subjects. These are rabbit holes you could go down, or you could use these as keywords. It'll also tell you the volume and the page numbers and things like that. You also can save this search for later. This bookmark right here, we'll put it into your bookmarks right here. You can print and email these to yourself, and I do recommend doing that before you close out the session, because these bookmarks can disappear if you close the session. You can also cite this item if you're writing a paper to use APA or MLA. Either way, let's say you have APA, it will create the citation for you. I would double check to make sure that it's correct, in the correct form before you put it in your paper. Just double check it. Sometimes there's errors, but you can export it. If you use Zotero, you can export it to Zotero, or you can print it out or copy and paste it and put it into a paper. You can also email it to yourself. So that's Summon. Now I'll show you the catalog. The catalog is where you look for physical books. Let's say we want all fields, business. If you see the drop-down menu, Central Carolina Libraries, if you leave that selected, you'll have 1, 2, 3 libraries. You'll search all 3 of our libraries. Or if you're going to Lee, you want to know if it's at Lee, you can search that one. Or you can search all of our consortium. I believe I honestly don't know how many branches that we check, but there's several dozen branches that are in the CC Link libraries. So let's check Lee and do a search. These are for physical books. You'll see it's doing the search for the word business. You can place this book on hold. You can look at it and make sure that it's what you want. You can check the contents. And if you know how to find it on the shelf, here's how you find it with the call number. If we don't have the book that you want, the precise book, you can request it through interlibrary loan. Community card members can do this as well. And so if you can't find the book anywhere in any consortium, we will try and locate that book through the entire United States and even abroad. Just put in the request right here. Okay. So now we've looked at summon, catalog, and the interlibrary loan. So our databases, the databases allow you to choose a specific database by name, subject, or format. These subjects are curated by librarians. So one subject you might find useful is the business and management. Inside business and management data subject, you'll see a lot of resources there. These are the ones that are accessible with, you have to have a student ID or be on campus to navigate. Look for, if you see ProQuest, Gale, or NC Live, all of those you need to be on campus or have a student ID. So let me show you what one of them looks like. Now remember ProQuest and NC Live. We'll talk about that again in a second. These are databases that Summon searches. So remember, Summon will search Gale and ProQuest. But if you want to target your search, remember I had comic book and business. Remember there were 30,000 results. Now we only have 39. So what it did is it isolated the database into just business and market research collection. So this search is much more targeted to what you might be looking for. And just like Summon, you can narrow the search by age and date range. You can narrow by publication title, document type, subject, things like that. There's also data Axle reference solutions. And I like this one because this is how you can search companies' information. So I'm looking for comic book businesses, and I want to learn about my competitors or other ones out there and how they're doing. Let's go to Raleigh Comics. I don't know the title, so I'm just going to look for comic book, hopefully. Let's see what results we get. Okay, here's 3 in Raleigh. I'm going to click on the first one, and let's take a look at it. What you see here now are their addresses. You see all kinds of information. Their sales volume. Their business expenditures. This is really interesting. You can see what other people are doing. Their sales volume by year. Now it looks like there's a dip, but it looks like missing information, but still there's quite a change between 2011, 12 and 2018. Let's see if we can investigate why that happened. Well, it looks like in 2010, they changed locations. So this just shows you an example how factors can affect your business. Location, location, location. This is Data Axle Reference Solutions. Is this similar to Duns and Bradstreet databases? I'm not entirely sure. I've never looked at that one before. I can take a look at it real quick if you want me to. Is this a database that you can use without having a library card? It looks like I might have to register for a free trial, so I'm not entirely sure about that. I'm sorry. I can get back to you with that answer.
Yeah, Allison, I believe Dun and Bradstreet's a paid.
Okay.
Where this is obviously available for free. So
it is. And Morningstar Investment Morningstar Investment Research Center is another one that we offer. As you can see here, there's tabs right here. They mirror these: equity, funds, ETF, planning and education. What Morningstar offers is screeners provides an easy way to sort through thousands of stocks and funds. You can use your own criteria to create short lists of stocks and funds. Equity funds provides access to Morningstar's proprietary research on data and thousands of stocks and funds. The planning and education gives you videos and self-study investment courses if you want to try that. And their articles and videos feature insightful investing articles and videos written and recorded by our analysts, editors, and market leaders. So this might be helpful in researching your business goals there and how to do the stock side of it. And again, keep an eye out for the NC Live and ProQuest. I'm going to show you something again real quick. Our research guides is the last tab I'm going to show you on our website today. We call them LibGuides or library guides. They're electronic resources compiled by librarians around a specific topic that provide you targeted suggestions and materials students might find useful. Here were 4 that I thought might be useful, and I'll show you how to get there. This is what it looks like, but I'm going to show you how to get there from the front page. So here's the library's front page. We've looked at Summon, the catalog, interlibrary loan, and databases. Let me show you how to get to the databases real quick. It's the A to Z listing. This is how you would get to the databases. We talked about business and management right here. For the research guides, you just use this drop-down menu and you can click on business administration right here. That's the first one, but you might find more ones that are interesting as well further down the list. Once you're there on the research guide, you'll see collected materials that we think might be helpful in this pursuit, this degree, and descriptions on what an article is, what a journal article is, how to use a database, things like that. You'll see the home page. You'll have resources. Again, AB Inform, Gale, Gale OneFile, Data Axle Reference Solutions. These are databases. And here's some ebook suggestions. How to evaluate a resource, tutorials, again, going back to the videos, how to use Summon, how to use the catalog. So Summon checks all of the databases, most of the databases. Catalog is physical books. Research guides are collected everything, ebooks, databases, how to do research, all on different subjects. Databases are what Summon searches. There's an A to Z listing. I believe there's around 250. So you don't have to navigate all of those. We have them segregated out into by subject and also by format. Business management is right here. And here's all of the ones that we think fall under that subject. I talked about 3 of them. And journal articles, you can jump directly into those. And if you can't find it, interlibrary loan is a resource to go to. And we will get it for you. We do have a YouTube video for the library. And I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. On it, you'll find instructional videos as well as interviews with conversations with authors, crafting, things that we've done at the library. And again, we have the tutorials, these video tutorials, so please check those out. They're very short. And here's a direct link in the PowerPoint slides. I'll share those with you. Now, I came from public libraries, and you know you love them. Did you know you can use many of your public library's resources at home? Well, you can, and let me show you some examples. I used to work at Lee County Public Library, so I will show you them first. Here's their website. And you don't even have to go into the library to get a card. After COVID happened, most libraries started offering library cards that you could get online. And Lee County Library does that. So you can sign up for your library card right here. And there's no restriction other than this is a temporary card. It will allow you to get e-resources only until you come in and show your physical ID, and then you can get your 3-year permanent card with which you can check out books. But if you only want access to the electronic items, then you can just fill this out and they will email you your card and PIN number. And how you access their electronic resources is you go to Books, Movies, and More, and you have all of these electronic materials. E-Ink is their ebooks and e-audios. NC Kids is the ebooks and e-audios for children. And NC Live, remember I told you to remember ProQuest and NC Live? This is where you can access all of NC Live's resources, of which ProQuest is one. So through the public library, you can get a card online and use it to access many of the materials and resources that we offer at CCC Library as well. If you look at NC Live's resources, you can browse all databases. You'll see a duplicate. You can even narrow them by subject. They have business and management pulled together already. You'll see many of the same things that we offer as well. ABI Inform, Business Market Research Collection, Data Excel, Reference Solutions. Am I saying Excel right? And Morningstar Investment Research Center. So all of those are available through your public library after you sign up for a card online. At Chatham, they offer the same. You can apply for a library card online, and you can access their e-resources. When you apply for a card online, you'll see that they restrict to, I believe it's contiguous counties, Alamance, Chatham, Durham, Harnett, Lee. All of these counties can get a card online through them. And then you'll see their e-resources, their books. They offer through the same ebook library as Lee County. They have e-ink library. And their databases, again, are NC Live. NC Live is a statewide library cooperative supported that supports 200 plus public and academic libraries. So they have amazing results. And Harnett, again, you can get a card online. Their restriction is that they are only able to register patrons in Harnett County. But if you lived in Harnett, you could get the Harnett card, the Lee card, and the Chatham Public Library cards. So, like I said, join every library that you can, because they have resources that will just, it could be an infinite amount of resources. And through them, you can get ebooks and more. Again, they have the e-ink library, the NC Kids digital library, and NC Live. So join as many as you can. And here's us. I am Allison Sills. Mari Wimberly works here at Lee as well. Morgan works at Harnett. And Dana Haven works at Chatham County. These are the locations and the hours. And thank you.
Right, thank you, Allison. We're going to give everybody just a minute to pop in any questions that they have. I just want to say, I think one of the best resources that we have available is to be able to make an appointment with the librarian.
Yes.
And to really get clear on what kind of information that you're looking for, like what information do I need for my business plan, make that appointment, and have your librarians assist you with pulling all the data. It's a lot of data, a lot of information. Like you said, it's almost unlimited. So how do you kind of narrow it down to find out what you need? And I think being able to make that appointment is just an awesome resource. And I'm happy that you came and did this today, because I just wanted everyone to see what is available out there to them. I think sometimes we don't realize, we think, the library is just some books, and how would you even go kind of pull all that information together? So thank you for doing this. Let's see, we have one question. Can you give an example of how to get started with research? First of all, Millie, I would just say, as you're working through your business plan, the first thing, and I'm sure Allison would probably agree with me, is like finding out for yourself what information you need. So when you go to the library or you make an appointment with the librarian, you can be very specific as far as, I'm opening, for instance, a company where, I'll do air conditioner repair. As part of my business plan, I want to hire. So how would I find out what the average salary is for someone? I mean, that's information that's readily available through the library, things like that. So I think knowing what you're looking for, and then being able to take that information to the library to get the information that you need is how you would do that process. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I would actually start with a Google search and get some ideas in the broad sense of Google, find some details, and then turn it over and come to Summon and check Summon. And as you could see, that I would check your competitors to see what they're doing through the data Axle reference solutions. That one had some really interesting information. Find out what they're doing, how much they're paying, how many employees do they have. Yeah, start with Summon, then go to the databases, you know, in the business and administration section. Start looking through the databases by subject under business.
Jolene is saying she's having trouble requesting a library card. Can you assist? Jolene, tell us which library it is.
Yes, which library?
That would be a little helpful.
To get a card at CCCC, I believe you do have to come in person. At Lee County Public, just follow the link that was in. I didn't give you the slides yet. I can send you the link. Hold on just a second. For Lee County Public, hold on. I'll get that for you real quick. Public.
While you're doing that, Millie's asking about recommendations for finding grant opportunities. Next Monday, we're going to do web resources, right? So we'll talk about that in the session. This is the first of 3 parts. Next Monday at 1 o'clock, we'll dive into resources on the web, and the following Monday after that, we'll tie everything. How do you tie everything, all the information together?
Yeah. Here we go. There's the link to the Lee County Public Library card. And Lee County Library doesn't restrict by location, so anybody from anywhere can get a temporary card at Lee County Library to get the e-resources, but it will only last for 6 months. You can always call again to renew it though. So, yeah.
Okay, Tanya's asking if you can just go back over ProQuest. Is available only on site, or can you access it from home?
It is only available on site, or because NC Live offers ProQuest material, if you get your Lee County Library or a public library card in North Carolina, you can access their electronic resources through the public library. You can access NC Live and ProQuest.
Hey, BJ's asking, can you suggest a database to find contract manufacturers?
Contract manufacturers. You mean like information about businesses in particular? Like a particular business by name? Then I would go to data Axle reference solutions, and I'll put that in the chat. From there, you should be able to type in the name of the business and get all of their information. Let me see if I can get right to the search. Here you go. I really like that one. You can search the company and find out how many employees they have, how much they make, where they're located, how much they pay for rent, all kinds of great information on that one.
And Millie's asking, do you have suggestions for templates for business plan? Yes, your small business center has those. So please reach out to us and we will be able to give you a template for that. No problem. All right.
Just make sure that when you're going to Lee County something, that you're typing in Lee County NC, because there's a Lee County, Florida that seems to be the preferred search result. So make sure that it's Lee County NC that you're Googling. Okay, there you go.
Okay, Karina's asking about Shepherd Library in Pitt. Can she get access to NC Live from them?
Chatham County? Yes.
Pitt.
Pitt?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh?
Actually, Pitt, no, Pitt County.
Pitt County. I didn't look any further than the 3 counties that we service, but I can check them out real quick. Pitt County Library, NC, let's see. Shepherd Memorial.
BJ, I see what you're asking. You're looking for a manufacturer to manufacture a product. Reach out to your local small business center for that question. They'll be able to help you kind of narrow that search down a bit.
It looks like Shepherd Memorial does offer NC Live. I'm looking for how to get a card there. But they definitely offer NC Live if you already have a card. How can you access the recording of the meeting? I believe that's going to be made available soon.
Yes, if you're here on the meeting today, you'll get an email from Small Business Center with a link to the recording so we can review all this. Any other last minute questions? So if you were here on the webinar today and you have not yet registered for the webinar, next Monday we'll go ahead and automatically register you. So hopefully you'll be able to join us next week. Again, next week we're going to cover web resources, and then the week after we're going to tie all of this information together for you. So join us for part 2 and 3. Allison, any final thoughts? I think that was the last question.
I'm good. Join us next week. We'll be talking about all the resources you can access without having any kind of card.
Yes, it's important to go through that because there's so much stuff on the web. It's like, how do you know what are good resources and what are bad resources?
Right.
We need to know how to discern the good from the bad. So thank you for joining us this afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you all on the webinar next week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Allison.